Hey keyboard nerds, this is a quick video on how to comp on a Hammond organ through a 12-bar blues. I've been getting a lot of requests on my YouTube channel to do a video about this, so this is just going to be a quick and dirty video because I have a ton of this content in my online course if you really want to get into it. But in the meantime, here's a really simple video on how to get started comping in a C 12-bar blues on the Hammond organ. I'm going to give you about 2 or 3 things that you can try that will hopefully elevate your comping to the next level. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we go. Typically when I'm comping on a B3, I will comp on the bottom manual and play lead stuff on the top manual. Now there's no hard or fast rules to this, and you can kind of do whatever you want, and I think you should. But traditional B3 players will typically comp on the bottom manual. A great comping sound is just the sort of traditional Jimmy Smith one, which is the 16-foot drawbar out all the way, the 5 1/3 about out like that, and the 8-foot out here. And this gives you that classic comping sound. Let's push that one in. Try that again. There you go. That's your classic comping sound. You know, typically a guy like Jimmy Smith would have a sound like this pulled on the top manual, which is the first 3 drawbars, and then just he would have the percussion on, soft, fast, third, and he would do his comping here, you know. And that's where he would do his lead kind of sounds or his solos. So as a general rule, if you want to try comping on the bottom manual, it kind of frees you up to have another sound set up on your top manual that you can play leads on. Another thing that Jimmy Smith did, which I think is kind of a lot of organ players have followed this, is he used a lot of 2-note chords, very simple comping chords. And I believe the thought behind this was using 2-note chords doesn't muddy up the frequencies, and it allows for the bass lines to really be heard clearly. And I think that's why that was developed. So if we take a blues in C, here's 3 chords that you can get started comping with. The first chord looks like this. This is just a standard 2-note 7 chord. It's got the 2 most important notes of the chord in it. It's got the 3rd. So a 7 chord would typically look like this, dominant 7 chord. And we're just taking the 3rd, 1, 2, 3, and the flat 7 on top, and playing them together. So you've got this note, which defines whether the chord is major or minor, and you've got this note, which defines whether the chord is a major 7 or a dominant 7. And this works really, really well over a 12-bar blues. So for instance, doesn't really get in the way too much, just fits perfectly. So of course in a C 12-bar blues we're going to have a C7 chord, an F7 chord, and a G7 chord. So let's look at those. C7 chord would look like this. 3rd on the bottom, flat 7 on the top. Now if we were to repeat that for F, it would look like this, with the 3rd on the bottom, flat 7 on top. If we were to repeat that for G, it would look like this, with G's 3rd on the bottom and its flat 7 on the top. Now remember, when I'm referring to flat 7s and stuff like that, you're always thinking of that specific key. So I'm thinking of a G major scale. So when I say flat 7, I'm thinking that in order to find a flat 7, I would have to play a G scale and flat that. That's a flat 7. So when I'm thinking in numbers like that, when I say 3rd and flat 7, I'm thinking of the scale of each chord. So for C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 and flat 7. For F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 and flat 7. Okay, so let's call this the, I guess, the primary inversion of this chord. Let's just try them. Here we go. I'm just playing a stock blues rhythm, just kind of a bop, bop, bop. You hear that one all the time. And so sort of the next step with this is to get these into closer inversions. Of course, with any chord, if you have two notes, there can be two inversions. You can have the chord starting from this note or the chord starting from this note. It's the same chord, just in a different spot. Now, here's a cool little trick. When you're going from C, you can go to this inversion of F, which just happens to be the notes right a half step right below the C chord. Check it out. Back to C, and then I can go to this inversion of G, which is that same G chord, just flipped in a different inversion. So here's your C, F, C. Just play through the 12-bar blues here. F, C, G, F, C. Pretty cool, right? Super easy. And I mean, I'm just plugging whatever bass line into my left hand. There's a million you can try. Now check it out. I'm going to use that inversion. Here it comes. Nice and close. So there you go. That's a really simple example of how to comp with these two-note chords. Now, there's a couple of different rhythms you can play. There's many different rhythms you can play, but a really simple one is just, it's like a Texas shuffle, just on all the offbeats. Of course, that works with the other bass line I was doing. You can add little things like that. Works well. Right? Okay. Next step is to do some sidestepping. This is super cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a rhythm, but we're going to go to a chord that's exactly a half step below. Example. So for the C, I'm just going down to exactly a half step below. I'm going to go to F, half step below. C, half step below. G, half step. F, C, half step below. It's great. Works so well. Now, you might have noticed there's a little rhythmic thing that you could do with your thumb, which again will add just a little bit of swing to it. Some people do it like this. Check it out. There's it right there. Now it seems really subtle, but it actually makes a big difference to the comp. When I go to F, I'll do the same thing. Now that's another example of you don't always have to stay in any of these particular inversions. You can change it up. Like if I wanted to go to this F, I can. If I want to go up higher, I can. Right? So And I go to the G. Now, these chords might seem really simple, but a guy like Jimmy Smith, he used these so much in a way that's really cool. Like he's got a tune called Root Down, which is like... I hope I'm doing that correctly, but that's kind of the sound. He would do these kind of... I might have those backwards. I'd have to reference the tune, but the point is he'll take something like this and he's going B flat in its flat 7 in its third. Then he's just going up to the B, flat 7 third, C, flat 7 third, C sharp, D. And he'll do that kind of thing, and maybe he'll go and he'll put a G on top because the tune is a blues in G. That's kind of the head. I think he goes... No. There it is. So he's doing all of those 3rd and 7 chords, really simple chords. E flat, E, F, F sharp, G. And the other one is B flat, B. And then he just puts a G on top, which really makes it sound great. There it is. So it just goes to show that even though it's a really simple chord, it can sound really sophisticated if played in a certain way. And that's just an example. Just by putting that G on top, it really sounds cool. So all that to say, it's just a very useful device that you can try. And I also wanted to mention that you're not always playing left-hand bass. A lot of times you're playing just with your band. And so you don't have to worry about all of these bass lines. So for instance, you might be doing something like, you know, just something like that. Could be just simple. That'd be the most simple one, you know, just one hand. You might want to try something like this. So when you're doing those side steps, you do a little slap before you change chords. Just tiny, light, so you're not even hearing the notes. Just a little slap. You know, and you could do all kinds of fun stuff like this. That Texas one could just look like that. I'm not playing any chord in particular in my left hand. I'm just kind of slapping and making sure that you don't hear the sound of the notes, just the percussive sound. So just some ideas of things that you can try, and you always just think a little bit differently when you're playing in a band with a bass player versus playing left-hand bass. And the other thing that I wanted to say that I keep forgetting to say in these videos is that sometimes you can just hold chords too. You don't always have to play rhythm, and a great example of this is when a blues tune is starting. You know, it might be like shuffle in C from the 5. Here we go, 1, 2, and the guitar starts soloing. And for the whole front of the tune, guitar player is doing a solo before he even starts singing, and you can just hold chords, and it really supports a guitar solo well. Use the Leslie. You know, just simple stuff like that. So as a rule, you can play rhythm when you're comping underneath a vocalist, like when they're singing, when the lyric is happening. And when people are soloing, if you try holding chords, it's a very effective thing to do. And of course, as their solo builds, just do simple stuff like second time around, maybe pull some drawbars and build energy. You've got two ways you can build energy. One is with the drawbars by adding sound. And so when somebody's soloing, you could literally start here on a comp sound and slowly do that. Second course of the solo, third course, guys, just building up and building up. You could actually go to full drawbar. And the other way that you can build energy is range. And what I mean by that is just go higher. So as his solo builds or her solo builds, just go up in range. Pretty simple stuff. I'm going to show you a couple of other chords that you can try. These two-note chords that we've been talking about, there's another way to do them by putting a 5 on top of them. Looks like this. These are great. So. So, first chord that you can try. These are nice little 3-note chords. They work so well. You got your flat 7, your third, your 5. For F, it would be flat 7, third, 5. And for G, it would be flat 7, third, 5. So let's try these. And you can do things like that where you can grab these chords and slide off that third. And that sounds really bluesy. F, C, G, F, C. Okay. By the way, I also have a video on my YouTube channel called The 3 Secret Blues Chords, which gets into these in depth. So if you like the sound of these, check out that video. 3 Secret Blues Chords, it's called. I'm going to show you another trick with this one. You can add another chord. So here's your C. You can add an F chord, which is the 4 chord of C. Check it out. Classic. Classic blues comp. Okay, let's check out what that would mean in F. The 4 chord of F is B flat. So that's a chord. And in G, the 4 chord of G is C, which is right. Let's try these. Let's try a few different comps. You can start with the F, kind of, and it pulls it into the C. Check it out. Sounds so good, I think. And maybe you want to resolve to the G7 at the end of the progression, as people often do. You can also start on the 1 or on the C. Now that one you can either do like this or like this. Your choice. So, and it works with all the bass lines. So it could be. Or So it's your choice what you want to do. And if you're not using bass lines, check out this out. Use your left hand as percussion. Left hand is often just setting up the right hand. So if I'm going to go, it's going. It's actually pretty simple stuff, but you just have to get it under your hands for a while and it will become more and more comfortable for you. Last thing I want to say about these chords is the advanced version of them is using them in inversions. So if we take this chord and this chord, I can also play them like this. I can go down and play it here, play it here, and back. So those are all of the different inversions of these chords, because obviously there's 3 different notes in the chord, so you can play it in 3 different positions. And you can go, here's a great move you can do. You can go C, F, C, F, C, F, C, F, C. Let me give an example of that. You can do the same thing in F too. F, B flat, F, B flat, F, B flat, F, B flat. This stuff works so great. So for instance, you can actually fit it into a comp that you're doing, like a right? When you're playing a slow blues, these work great because you can kind of move around. B flat, F, C, F, C, F, C. I just went C to G. So that's a really, really powerful thing that you can do as well. And finally, what I'm going to leave you with today is the beautiful 9 chord, which looks like this. 9 chord has all the cool notes in it. It's got the 3rd, the 5th, the flat 7, and the 9. And you play them in a 4-note stack like that, or 4-note harmony. I love the sound of these. I hope you do too, because they work real well. They're real thick sounding. That's C9. Here's F9. So of course you're not playing the root in this, which really gives you opportunity to add more color. 3, 5, flat 7, 9. And the G9 is 3, 5, flat 7, 9. So C9 through the 12-bar blues. F. G. F. C. Okay, so we can try all the same rhythms that we did with the other one. That one sounds great, right? Sounds really, really good. We can also sidestep with these. Check it out. You can go C, B, C, F, E, F, G, F sharp, G. So you're just going down a half step. Right? These are really fun. And I mean, obviously, when you're playing with a bass player, and once you've mastered these, you can kind of actually step up. You can also do sidestepping up excuse me, to the half step above. All right. So it's just, you can just really just start having fun with them. And again, under a solo. You can always approach these chords from the chord above. That's a cool little turnaround you can do at the end of a blues. C, E flat, D, D flat 9, back to C. So there's a whole bunch of tricks you can try in a C 12-bar blues that will hopefully elevate your comping to the next level. And please don't forget, I have an online course with almost 400 videos that goes into great detail on stuff just like this. So if you want to check that out, go to www.universeofkeys.com. And I really appreciate your support with the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. And I'll see you very soon with another lesson. Take care.